Okay, let's add some color, some materials and textures to our objects. We're just going to take a sphere for this demonstration purpose. We're going to go in and we're going to increase the Y a little bit so we have more of a head shape on that, and maybe even give it a, let's add a body. Objects 10 by 10 by 10. You'll find out I do 10 by 10s a lot. And maybe throw a taper, rotate that 180 degrees. And drop that taper in the cube. If I grab the cube when I do that. There's the body, and let's drop in a little sphere for a neck. Okay, that's our person here, or the beginnings of a person. So let's go down here to our material manager. We're going to create a new material. I like to double click so that I can pull up a dialog box and see what all I'm working with. We know that most humans are in the range of 23 to 32 degree hue. We'll add a little saturation to it, and then we can make them a little lighter or darker depending on what it is we're trying to accomplish. So that's color. That's pretty straightforward. You'll also notice that reflectance by default is on. See the little specular highlight there? That's what our reflectance is doing at the moment. Since this is just skin, I don't need some of the rest of this, but let's hit a couple of them. Transparency. Do I want it transparent? Do I want it visible? Do I want it partially transparent? In this case, we're going to make him we don't need transparency. Everything reflects light in some way, shape, or form. This is called a specular highlight. The sharper that is, the smoother and shinier an object is, the wider it is, the more it diffuses light. We may decide that might be just a little strong for human skin, so we'll kind of do that. Bump is texture. I'm going to load a pre-built surface into there just to show you what it looks like. Let's go in and just add some noise, and you can see how it the bump actually moves the surface up and down, which is going to be way more than what we want for skin. Just enough so that it's not perfectly flat is probably fine. Alpha will hit in just a minute, but let's say that's the neck, and we'll make a blue shirt for him. So we're going to grab a new material. This color is going to be kind of in the blue range, something like that. Again, it's depending on the material, will depend upon the reflection. Spread that out just a little bit and take the strength down just a little bit. Probably a little shinier than the skin. I don't need it to be transparent. I could add a little material if I wanted to, and there's other ways of doing this which we will touch in class, but for the time being, and I'm going to set this to -1. Now let's make it -2. Just a little more bump than what we had before, and I'll just drop it on that. You'll notice what happens. These are called tags. We have a texture tag as we add the material onto those objects. On the object itself, I'm going to create one more material because I want to show you a technique that's going to make your life infinitely easier for what we're doing this month. We're going to go and load a texture. I'm going to hit load image, and on my desktop, hopefully, face 1 ping, open, copy that into the same folder, and now I have put that material or that image onto that material. I'm going to drop it here, which looks a little strange at first. I'm going to change it from UVW mapping to flat mapping, and I'm going to come grab this right here, excuse me, the texture mode. Now I'm going to be able to move that where I need it. Render that out. Hey, now we've got a lovely face going on, right? And I can even go in here and scale it just a little bit if I need to. Let's make it 115 by 115. Or we can come grab the scale while we're in the texture mode. And I'm not getting a lot of difference at the moment. Because I wasn't on the scale. Okay. I'm not going to sit here and play with it, but you can do it. There we go. Now I'm getting what I wanted. Okay, and there's the beginnings of my character. Okay. A couple things real quickly that I did besides bringing that in. And let's add one more thing to that material. I want that mouth to be open. No, I don't. I'm just going to leave it like it is for the time being. I'll show that in a minute. So a couple things. On this material mode, we have UVW mapping. We also have flat mapping. We have cylindrical mapping. Each one's going to cause that material to wrap differently. So you'll find that you're going to want to actually bounce between these materials from time to time, or these mappings from time to time if you're not getting the result you want. Because I went and custom made this and kind of knew what I was doing, it worked fairly well. I don't have to go and recreate a lot of what I had already created. Okay. Last thing would be to add that you might want to know how to do. Let's just do a new one real quickly. File, new, thank you. I'm going to just drop a cube in here, and I'm going to jump over to Photoshop, file, new, create a little 100 by 100 pixel thing, and fill it with black, I hope. Thank you. And file, save as dot, and we can save it as a PNG, a PSD. I usually save as a PNG or a JPEG. So now I'm going to come in here and create a new material. With that material, I'm going to come in and under alpha, I'm going to load an image, which happens to be dot. And copy it there, and you'll notice that it cut a hole there. Alpha is a transparency channel. So when I drop it there, we now have holes that cut right through our material. When we come in here, we can come in and say, oh gee, I want this to tile 10 by 10. I've got lots of holes in the material. Okay, cylindrical mapping, flat mapping, cubic mapping, UVW mapping. Sometimes they give us a different result. They actually all use different algorithms. for how the material is projected onto that surface. Let's go back to like a spherical map. No, I didn't like spherical. Let's go back to a UVW mapping. I liked that. Drop in a light with volumetric lighting. Render that thing. Ooh, a glowing hole. The main reason I did that is to show that yes, those where there were the dark areas in my alpha channel, it is now transparent. Okay? That's a little bit about materials.